Center for Sustainable Rural Communities. Wes Gillingham from Catskill Mountain Keeper and I will be facilitating this evening's press conference. In addition to our two groups, the following organizations are represented here this evening or have sent statements of support. Stop the Pipeline, Sierra Club Atlantic Chapter, Otsego 2000, Sustainable Otsego, Sharon Springs Against Hydrofracking, Stop New York Frack Gas Pipeline, Catskill Citizens for Safe Energy, Citizens Action of New York, Berkshire Environmental Action Team, and Mohawk Valley Keeper. For more than 2 years, rural residents from eastern Pennsylvania to the town of Wright in Schoharie County, just east of where we stand tonight, have lived under the threat of a high-pressure natural gas pipeline that would slash and blast through forest, fields, productive farmland, wetlands, and some of the richest cold water trout streams in the country. Soon after the so-called Constitution Pipeline was proposed, landowners in its path were pressured, they were threatened, and they were intimidated. Despite that, landowners in an unprecedented number stood their ground and refused to sign away easements. Just before Christmas, those landowners who refused to be bullied by pipeline developers began receiving threatening letters in the mail, followed by legal documents as the pipeline company sought to force easements across private property through condemnation. Less than a month ago, the pipeline company gained court approval to simply ignore private property rights and essentially invade the backyards, gardens, orchards, and woodlots of rural landowners. Now, a few weeks later, Kinder Morgan, in a demonstration of profound arrogance and insensitivity, is holding an open house to explain their plan to build yet another pipeline through the same communities and launch their own campaign of pressure, threats, and intimidation, which, if they get their way, will end up in condemnation of yet more private property, the despoiling of wetlands that took centuries to develop their diversity, the clear cutting of thousands of healthy trees, the destruction of habitat, and the irreparable damage to some of the most beautiful and important ecosystems in the eastern United States. We are fortunate to have an iconic figure in American music with us tonight, Peter Yarrow. Peter has spent a lifetime singing and fighting for social justice. There is a reason he is here tonight. These pipeline proposals are not just environmental and economic issues, they are also social justice issues. It is not a coincidence that both the Constitution and NED pipelines are proposed to cut through rural communities with severely depressed economies that have suffered catastrophic impacts of both natural and man-made disasters, including devastating floods and a pipeline explosion that killed members of the community and destroyed homes and property. As much as 12% of the population of this county and Delaware County lives below the poverty level and cannot afford the higher legal representation necessary to defend themselves from the onslaught of big oil and gas. Poor rural communities are being targeted, exploited, written off as inconsequential collateral damage by an out-of-control industry. We stand here tonight in solidarity with those communities and in defense of the environment to say enough is enough, and to send a unified message to Kinder Morgan, to Cabot Oil, and Williams Company. The message is as follows: we are not defeated, we will not stop, and we will win because we have an advantage. Big oil and gas fights for obscene profits. We fight for something far more important: the health, the safety, and the property rights of our families and our communities. So Kinder Morgan and the other carpetbagger corporations hell-bent on exploiting our communities, harming our environment, and trampling our property rights, we say to you, pack your bags and go home.